Rolling.
Okay. Hi, as you guys already know, my name is Andy, and I'd like to give you a little bit of background information about myself and my experience with CAD software. My current position is I'm Design Group Team Lead at Donatel, and I've been working here for 18 years. I have 10 years of working with software called CAD Key. It's now known as Key Creator, and then 8 years working with CAM software SurfCam, and then finally 12 years working with ProEngineer, and in addition with that same time period working with SolidWorks for 12 years too. I've used ProEngineer since version 21. I believe it was called I², and I've used ProEngineer as my primary design software for the past 12 years. I also have a unique job in the fact that I get to use both software, SolidWorks and ProEngineer, almost on a daily basis. And then a final point, I actually sit on the PTC Technical Committee, where I help recommend and vote on software enhancements. So the purpose for today is I hope to accomplish and prove to you why ProEngineer is a better CAD solution for your company than SolidWorks. Sorry, skipped a slide. Okay, I'd like to give you a little bit of background information about ProEngineer. According to the book The Design Revolution by Dr. Samuel Wiesberg, ProEngineer was founded in 1985 by Dr. Samuel Giesberg. Names are similar. Anyway, ProEngineer was actually the first parametric modeling software ever created, and it was Dr. Giesberg's vision that he wanted the software to be flexible enough for the designers to be able to create a variety of designs very efficiently. Previous CAD softwares, that wasn't possible. It was almost kind of like paper and pencil, where they had to start from scratch all over again. Well, it took them a few years, and the first version of the software was released in 1987, and it was obviously Unix based because Windows wasn't really available or that popular back then. 8 years later, PTC released the first version for Windows. And then, this is kind of an interesting note too, in 2008 PTC went up for sale, and the asking price was $2.4 billion. Obviously didn't have any takers on it, and PTC still exists as it did back then. They gross sales are approximately 100 million, and of that about 200 million of it is profit. So the question, or the statement, purchasing CAD software is a long-term commitment. And what I want to emphasize to you is choosing the wrong software can be very costly. Typically, CAD software costs between $5,000 and $8,000 per license. And once you have the software in use, you're pretty much committed to using it for a long time. CAD files cannot typically be opened in a different software. The definition of this is called inoperability. Over a few short years of use, thousands of CAD files can be created in your company. And these designs is where your company's technology lies. And being able to access this information down the road and for years to come is crucial for success. Now, this has happened in the past. Companies choose to change softwares midstream, and they can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars converting and trying to switch CAD systems. So that is why it's important to choose the right CAD software for your company from the start. So, why choose ProEngineer? Today we're going to look at 3 important factors. It's easy to learn, it's a very stable software, and it has very powerful tools. So, regardless of what you might have heard about how difficult ProEngineer is to learn, it's very simply not true. Years ago in the earlier versions, it was difficult to learn, but since the release of Wildfire, ProEngineer is no harder to learn than SolidWorks. There are many useful tutorials online that are available right inside the program. On the right-hand side of the program, there's a snap open window that is directly connected to the ProEngineer website, where you can find many tutorials and online help. Through the years, I've taught 30+ people how to use ProEngineer, and many that were previous SolidWorks users. One of the first things I tell them when I'm teaching them about Pro Engineering is they need to forget about any preconceived notions that they have on how hard it is to learn. And in almost all cases, I can have the person accomplishing basic solid modeling tasks in just an hour or two. Once the fundamentals have been learned, they can be applied to almost any CAD software. In addition, once you have the basics down for solid modeling, they can be applied to all functional areas in Pro Engineering. For example, if you're making a simple extrude or a revolve, the look and feel of the menus are the same. If you know how to create it in one functional area, you are able to create it in another because the picks, the clicks, and the menus are relatively the same. It's like a building process. The more you use it, the better you will become. Unlike SolidWorks, where even the basic features have entirely new menus for functions like surfacing. When you're creating a surface in SolidWorks, it's a whole new world of choices and picks and clicks. It's like the guy who was working on the surfacing package had no idea what the other programmers were doing. Just to reinforce the idea of how easy Pro Engineer is to use, I challenge you that when you go back to your workstations to open up Pro Engineer and create the part shown below, and think about how easy it is to create that part. See if you can create that part in 10 features or less. The second reason to choose Pro Engineer over SolidWorks is software stability. Pro Engineer is written for a Windows operating system, and it runs very well on it. PTC is also a gold certified partner of Microsoft. Now, all softwares are prone to bugs and problems, but with that being said, PTC extensively tests new builds before released. New versions of the software are run through 4 to 6 months of software validation, where they test every aspect of the software to ensure product quality. So, premature exit. For those of you not familiar with Pro Engineer, what I'm talking about is the sudden shutdown of your session in Pro Engineer. Now, this may not seem like a good reason to choose Pro Engineer over SolidWorks, but please let me explain. On occasion, when you ask Pro E to do something incorrectly, or for some other unknown reason, bam, Pro E closes, and with no warning at all, it leaves you wondering what happened. Well, from my experience, this does not happen very often. And the software is actually written to work that way. Well, you're probably wondering, why would they do that? Well, let me explain. It's much better to have the software shut down prematurely than lock up. SolidWorks, on the other hand, just will lock up and sit there for hours, maxing out your processor. The only way to get back your work again is to do a hard shutdown and restart of the operating system, and this can generally corrupt your CAD files. I can't tell you how many times I've waited for SolidWorks to figure something out. In the end, it takes me 15 to 20 minutes to get things running again. With Pro E, I can be back to work in just a minute or two. Let's just talk about the corrupt files just for a minute. In my 12 years of working with Pro Engineer, I've only came across 2 corrupt files. And in my experience with SolidWorks, it's been dozens, costing me hours of redesign. The third reason to choose Pro Engineer over SolidWorks is it's a powerful tool that's limitless. Pro Engineer is one of the most powerful softwares on the market, and they have held that position for more than 2 decades. Let's dig in a little deeper. Inside an assembly of parts, you can create a variety of displays showing and hiding models, representations that can be saved for future reference and viewing. Now, SolidWorks also has this functionality, but the representations cannot be saved. Let me tell you, being able to save your display is a huge time saver. Surface merging is another powerful tool inside Pro Engineer. When working with surfaces in Pro, you can actually merge 2 surfaces together in a single command and eliminate the unwanted parts of the surface. With SolidWorks, you must first trim the surfaces perfectly where they touch before you can prefer a merge, or in SolidWorks terms, a knit. This creates a lot of unnecessary features in the model tree. Skeleton and top-down design. With a Pro Engineer assembly skeleton, you can create a very robust design. The skeleton allows you to pass information down to the other models and also allows multiple designers to work on the same project. This is another example of a powerful tool that does not exist in SolidWorks. I would like to finish by making the following point. It's not how fast you can draw the part the first time that counts. What's really important is how many changes you can make to the design or how long it takes you to complete them that really counts. And for that, you want Pro Engineer. In conclusion, you should choose Pro Engineer as your CAD software because it's easy to learn, it's a very stable software compared to SOLIDWORKS, and finally because of its powerful tools. Thank you.